You're welcome. I'm going to do a quick video to show you how to get started on Program 7. Now let's take a look at the assignment. And the goal here is to have a menu-driven program that presents either of these menus. And the first thing we're going to focus is how do you structure a menu-driven program, because there's a standard form it should take. Up here we say there's a template for menu-driven programs that's provided in the repository. Let's take a look. Why don't we just say OP status menu and see what we get? And we get a bunch of stuff. Why don't we just try OP status, and we see a simple little program. I would recommend that you use this. So let's get this out of the repository. Okay. And let's take a look. And we see the basic program template that we use. Here's our get menu, and what goes in here? Basically what goes in here is your menu. So let's just replace this with what we know we need to have as our menu, which is what? Suppose we're doing LL1. Let's just copy these lines and put them in here. And we got to turn these into C out statements. Okay, didn't do enough. That's good. I know you want to know what this magic is, but you don't really want to know. So I won't even tell you, because when I try to tell you, you don't listen. So let that go. Alright, and that's that. Okay, so we've basically taken this Alright, so this is the menu. So starting off, we certainly have a menu. And one of the things you can do immediately is just compile this and see if it works. May have messed up something. Yeah. So if we ran this, the menu comes out. Okay, so we've got the first part done. All right, so let's go back in and see what this looks like. So we have the menu part done. Let's look at the rest of the program. Notice the main program is pretty much fixed. You don't do much in the main program except put some variables in that you need. So notice that our program is about a linked list, so that throughout the program we are manipulating a linked list. So we need to go ahead and put our linked list in. How do we put in a linked list? We just got to say pound include node.h. All right. So that now in the main program, what do we need? We need a list. So let's create a list. My list. And we're going to start off being null. It's an empty list. Notice a couple things. Whenever I manipulate the list, I do so using the perform choice function, which simply means I must pass the list to it, because it's the perform choice function that will add things to the list, delete things from the list, etc. So that we need to update the perform choice so that it takes the list as a parameter. Because we have to change it, we got to pass it by reference. I'm going to call it L. Okay, call it list. Okay, and now let's compile that. Don't do much. Do a little bit, compile. We're missing node.h, so we got to get node.h. Where is it? It's in the public repository. Get it out. Let's try to compile again. Now, so what do we have if we run this? We ought to be able to say exit. Oops, we don't have the exit working. So let's get out. Let's go back in and make sure our perform choice at least exits the program. So how do we exit? It's case X. And there may be something we need to say when we exit, so we may say terminating LL1. Okay? And that'll be it. So let's try that. Notice that we're not in a big rush, but we're just doing bits and pieces. Make sure our car has brakes. So if I say exit, it still is not exiting, is it? Well, let's go back in and let's see what happens. What do you think needs to be done? Well, let's go back to the main program. And down here we're saying keep going as long as the choice is not Q, but it's not Q at all, it's X. Alright? And we might want to do this. We may want to allow the user to type a lowercase or uppercase, so we have to make it case insensitive by doing that. Now let's try to compile again. We run it, we can exit. Boom. Run it again. We can do capital X. They both work. Get my point? So with that, we know we can control the loop. Now we must go back in and say, let's put in the code to handle each of these menu choices. All right? And for that, we basically have to decide which components we need to use to get that done. So I think I'll stop right here, and our next video is going to look at picking the components that you need. So we'll stop right here, and again I will show you what your program looks like. We haven't renamed it yet, but it kind of looks like the menu is in a separate function, and we basically take what's on the assignment, turn it into a bunch of series of output statements. We read the choice. Then we have perform menu choice. We will eventually expand this to include all of these labels. I suggest that we do one at a time. Okay? Don't be in a hurry to try to do all of these. And when we do the next video, we're going to start with A and C. We can't do anything if we can't load the list, and we don't know if anything works until we can view the list. So we'll look at picking components to make that work. So long.